Hi, how are you doing? I hope you're doing great. And if you're not doing great, I bet you will after watching this video. A new anime season has come, and well, for a while now. Actually, I'm kind of late to the party. But I wanted to take it easy and watch all the new series without rushing through the episodes like I usually do. And when I say all of them, I mean like a quarter of them, because believe me when I say that I'm not gonna be watching 15 more new takes on I got hit by a bus and got reincarnated as a wristwatch. You know what? To be honest with you, it's been a while since I watched an actually decent isekai. The last time probably being like, you know, Mushoku Tensei or maybe Konosuba. So I would really appreciate it if you leave me some recommendations down in the comments. I want the good stuff though, right? So the first anime that I want to recommend you is a Spokon actually called Medalist. I'm usually not the biggest fan of Spokons. Not because I don't find sports entertaining, but mostly because I can't bring myself to watch a whole like 10 episode season that covers one single match. I know it might be like very important for the plot, very intense and all shit like that, but uh, come on. I mean, I realize that is mostly me problem, so I'm not shitting on the genre. Believe me, I'm not here to shit on great series just because my attention span is that of a 5-year-old, right? Now, Medalist starts by introducing us to Tsukasa, an ice dancer that took on the sport too late to become like a true soul skater. His entire career, he found himself being carried basically by the fame and talent of his partners, and never really had a chance to shine of his own light. One day, he catches a young girl, Inori, sneaking into the rink without paying her fee and runs after her. Once confronted, she reveals that her mom doesn't want her to skate because her older sister, that practiced the same sport, had to quit after a serious accident when she got injured. Tsukasa then decides to write down different ice skating schools' names on a piece of paper and hands the paper to Inori and kind of asks her to try and convince her mom to let her practice the sport. And well, weirdly enough, sometime later, her mother finally caves in and decides to take Inori to one of the schools. Which, I mean, obviously reveals to be the same one where Tsukasa found a job as a teacher or something like that, I don't really remember. And although her mother was still pretty much against the idea of letting her daughter take lessons, she ends up partially changing her mind, giving Inori a chance to show her skills. He remains captivated by the fact that the girl managed to learn so much on her own. It's actually Tsukasa himself that, at this point, manages to convince Inori's mom to let her take lessons, also deciding to become her trainer, her teacher. I don't know how the fuck they're called, right? Something I'm really enjoying about the series is the fact that it portrays the relationship that two completely different characters have with the same sport. Inori is 11 years old, almost too old to have a chance of making it big in ice skating, as many other kids start when they're like 5. As I said earlier, Tsukasa started when he was 14, never making it big on his own. Yet, after meeting Inori, it's almost like a new sparkle lit up inside of him. He sees this girl as a chance of sort of redeeming his failure, let's call it like that. Honestly, I didn't have many expectations when I started the show, but it managed to grow on me quite a bit. What I especially liked about this anime is how it manages to be very exciting and very emotional at parts, without necessarily giving these characters extremely dramatic backstories, terminal illnesses, or like schizo parents that make their lives hell. There's really nothing like that. It's very easygoing. It's very wholesome. It doesn't take itself too seriously, and that's kind of what I like about it. At least it's a very fresh take on a Spokon or honestly any anime series or movie that talks about a character, especially a kid, like pursuing their dream in whatever it is, like music, like sports, like I don't know, you know what I mean. It's got great animation. It's very smooth. It's really nice to look at. The soundtrack is alright. I don't really remember any of it, but I mean, we probably fit the scenes quite decently. I honestly am curious at how the story is gonna evolve in the future. I mean, they already started to add some rivalry, some like secondary characters that seem at least to be quite interesting. So we'll see about that. Tasokare Hotel is basically a less dramatic, more sort of introspective and mystery solving centered take on the absolute masterpiece that is Death Parade. And I hope you know that anime. If you didn't, like, go watch it. What the fuck are you doing with your life? Tsukahara Neko, this girl, she's the main character, gets stabbed by an unidentified aggressor, and shortly after finds herself standing in a desolated landscape towered by a big old building, the Tasokare Hotel. She doesn't remember her name or rather like anything about her life, basically. Upon entering the hotel, she gets greeted by the manager, Ted, which is this guy. He's like, his hat is made of flames, and he explains that the reason why she's there is because she's a soul that is uncertain whether it's alive or dead. Each guest gets a room that's filled with mementos, I guess you could call them, that are supposed to help them retrieve their memories, especially like the last moments before ending up at the hotel. I know that at this point, especially if you've watched Death Parade, you might think that this is basically a ripoff of Death Parade. But I can assure you that it is. But it does come with many differences. Let's say that Tasokare Hotel is basically Death Parade if it was an episode of Detective Conan, alright? Because, well, the guests of the hotel are not handed any answers. What they have to do is to search for clues and piece together a puzzle, arrange their memories, and, deduct what brought them at the Tasokare Hotel. And Tsukahara Neko takes basically the role of sort of a detective. Because after helping a girl, like a fellow resident at the hotel, retrieving her memories and get back to the world of the living, she finds herself intrigued by the hotel and its purpose. So much so that she decides to ask the manager to hire her to work at the hotel. As I previously said, this show is much less dramatic than Death Parade, and even aesthetically so. It leans into a much brighter and, let's say, sort of a more bizarre vibe. For example, the landscape that surrounds the hotel kind of reminded me of the Sandwormland in Beetlejuice. There are no games to be played and no judge to decide the customer's fate. It's all up to the guests really to confront their unfinished businesses and unresolved trauma and, kind of realize whether they still have a chance or they're done for. Now, for the last main entry of this video, what if Dr. House was the twin sister of Maho Hiyajo from Steins Gate and wasn't crippled? Okay, while writing the script for this video, I was trying to find the words to describe the show to the best of my descriptive abilities, but it's Dr. House. That's about what this is. But all right, let's make some examples. A young boy suffers from a headache, from nausea, vomiting, fatigue, and basically any other non-fatal illness you can think of. Nobody can diagnose him. Is it lupus? It's never lupus. But then it takes her like 6 minutes and a coffee break to deduct that his mother was basically stuffing him with vitamin A supplements because they're supposedly good for the eyes, and the boy suffers from decrease in vision. Done. That's it. An old dude suffers from agonizing stomach pain. Is it appendicitis? Too easy. She realizes that he's a fisher by the fucking shape of the tan on his face, deducting that he probably spends a lot of time under the sun while wearing a hat, which leads her to believe that he must have caught a fish and basically just chomped at it while the poor fucker was probably still alive. He has worms. That's it. Bear in mind, both of these examples happen in the first episode, and not just in the first episode, in like the first 10 minutes of the first episode. But in the further episodes, the cases get quite a bit more complex, and they sometimes even span for an episode or even longer, actually. Like the last case she's trying to figure out has been going on for like 2 episodes at least at this point, I think. I kind of thought about something. Had the show come out in the early 2000s with a darker aesthetic and that typical edgy writing, she could have been a decent like competitor to Light Yagami. Now, before we finish, I was quite unsure whether to add this one to the main list or not, so I decided to just briefly mention it now at the end of the video. Honey Lemon Soda is probably one of the most easygoing, chill, and cute shows of this season. If you are at least somewhat familiar with my channel, you probably realized that I have quite a big soft spot for romance anime. I still consider anime series like Toradora, Bunny Girl Senpai, and the Monogatari series to be some of my favorite shows ever made. They're up there with like Attack on Titan and Evangelion. And this season, as usual, we got plenty of romance series, but this one is just a pile of steaming hot shit. This one is okay at most, and this is just boring. Last season though was a fucking treat because we got Pseudo Harem, which is probably one of the best romance series of the past 5 years at least. Even shows like Days with My Stepsister, Arya Hides Her Emotions in Russian, something like that, and Makaine were quite decent shows. Also, let's not forget about the little masterpiece that is Yakuza Fiancé. It is a shoujo, and like not exactly the demographic for a shoujo anime or show, whatever, but it's good. It's really good. Honey Lemon Soda talks about a 15-year-old girl, Uka Ishimori. She always struggled to socialize with people, being very shy and constantly freezing when trying to interact with others. And because of this, in middle school, she got nicknamed Rocky, as in, like rock. Because she would freeze and not be able to move and talk. Yeah. And, well, because of that, she faced endless bullying from her classmates, as you do. Now she just started high school. Well, it's time for a new beginning. And the first thing that happens to her is getting accidentally sprayed with soda by, like, the coolest guy in the school. He and his friend group, once they realize how much she struggles in her everyday life, well, they basically decide to adopt her and take care of her. The blonde guy, which is like, the cool guy, obviously develops a crush on her, so does she, and there's this very entertaining dynamic between the two of them. Her character is like, let's say, a somewhat less exaggerated bocce, if that makes sense. Well, he's just, your typical, like, cool guy that doesn't care. And yeah, that's about it. There's nothing really else to say about this. I don't know what else to say about it. If you're into like very easygoing, like chill romance series without the drama, without anything like that, go for it. It's really good. The animation is nice. Well, that's kind of all I wanted to talk about in this video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel as usual. That would really mean a lot to me because these videos take a shitload of time and effort to make. Having said that, thank you very much again. Hope I'm going to be seeing you in my next videos.